we're back with another episode of the Pop Culture Cosmos. It's Gerald Glassford coming back at you here from the Pop Culture Cosmos, Game Source, the Inside Sports Fantasy Football, and the Lakers Fast Break. We truly appreciate everyone out there listening to all of our shows, and if you can, please give us that 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. Plus, if you can like, share, subscribe. Subscribe today to get the latest notifications on when we go live on the air with the latest pop culture cosmos, PCC Multiverse, State of Pro Wrestling, and more right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos. Or go ahead and like and follow us on Facebook. That way you'll get the latest trends and news and items and notes on the world of pop culture that we send right over there on Facebook. Plus, for the bigger picture, go ahead and check out whatever we're checking out and whatever we're doing today at the popculturecosmos.wordpress.com site. And of course, please go ahead and check out for your holiday gift giving ideas with a 10% kicker on top of it right there for you at happyhoardercollectibles.com. Go ahead and use the discount code today, Happy Holidays 23, for 10% off your entire order now throughout the holidays up until January 1st. Right there for you at the Happy Hoarder Collectibles. But it wouldn't be a Pop Culture Cosmos without my good friend. He is the mastermind behind HappyHoarderCollectibles.com and that free 10% discount. It is a good man indeed. It is the guy behind, like I said, Happy Hoarder Collectibles, Humanica Media, and so much more. It is Josh the Great. And Josh, is that a self-portrait on your shirt today, my friend? You're on mute.
Yes, this is the image on our Christmas card. Actually, this is me, smiling for the camera, and yeah, it says "Merry Christmas."
Okay. Only a pumpkin could say that with any legitimacy, I guess. But it is going to be a great episode, my friend. We recap the box office and talk about the prequel to the Hunger Games. How well did it do? The latest Marvels movie. How bad did it do? And we'll talk about that and have the trolls come back with any vengeance. We'll talk about that on the show. Plus, also as well, Super Mario RPG lands in consoles this past weekend. Want to go ahead and hear your thoughts on it as well, Josh. So, and then of course, I'm going to dedicate the entire back half of the show to one of our favorite times of the year. Times where we've spent many a line, many a gathering, many a cold winter's morning, right there for us for Black Friday. So we'll go ahead and share some thoughts on the Black Friday ads and what we think you should get and what we think you should be waiting for in line, whether it's a virtual line or a regular line at your local store coming up here in a bit as well. But first, my friend, it is the box office, and I don't know. I don't want to call it a big win because the movie itself probably needs a lot more help than that, my friend. But The Hunger Games, the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, that did win the box office with $44 million domestically and $98 million worldwide. That's not a huge take. That's similar to what we saw last week with the Marvels. And we'll get to the Marvels here in a second, my friend. But I don't know. It won the weekend, but it's not going to leave a lasting impression because these movies, they take so much to make and you need to get so much back. And it just seems like it's going to be, with this movie right here, another one of the long line of movies this year that have underwhelmed at the box office. You're on mute.
That's the second time I've done that. Yeah, it's a weird time for the box office. Also, it's kind of a weird movie to make, though, wouldn't you say? Like, do people, the Hunger Games, the books circulated, they were out for a really long time before the movie was made. This book came out last year, and they already had a movie going for it. So I don't know if it's something people actually wanted. They didn't really give the book time enough to grow and circulate before they made this movie. So I don't know if it's something that people It's not. I don't think it's even going to do close to what the original Hunger Game films did, or even carry that desire and curiosity about it.
I will tell you, my friend, though, it's going to be very interesting to see how this continues to lay out for the Hunger Games. Again, a very popular series and IP, both book wise and also in films up until this point in time. I just think that going back again, it's Hollywood's desperation. Nothing original. We got to regurgitate whatever IP we can. We've talked about this for 7 years now, my friend, that Hollywood
Right.
continues to try and go and reach back into the nostalgia bit for what worked before. And sometimes it works, but most times it doesn't. And again, this is a movie that's probably cost 150, 200, $250 million to make. And in doing so, these returns are not going to even come close to have breaking even. So with that said, I mean, we're going to see another Harry Potter revelation as far as whether it's Harry Potter itself, as far as reimagined or something else going to be done in the Harry Potter universe. We saw already what happened when we tried to delve into that universe a bit already, and we saw the sequels and spin-offs. They got declining returns from it as with each movie they're in. Now with the Hunger Games, a very popular series in its own right, we're seeing the same thing. I just think that at this point in time, it's again people saying a clear and loud message. We're not going back to the box office in huge numbers unless it's something really special and that we really need to go back for. Because if we want to see it, we can always wait until it hits streaming.
Yeah, this is true, but also, think about this. Like Harry, what was the successful thing about Harry Potter was the fact that they put time and effort and emotion into those films. Whereas, if you remember, we had a very weird era for young adult novel films. Do you remember that? We had like
Mhm.
Divergent, we had Maze Runner, we had Hunger Games, and all of those films felt like they came off of factory lines.
Yep.
And this is just case in point here. Like had this prequel to the Hunger Games. Well, I'm sure the book is great, but nobody wants a film like this, and not to say nobody wants. I'm sure there are people out there that want it, but if you're putting this film out in a time when people aren't really going to see movies, so it feels weird, like they wasted it. Like they could have waited a year, 2 years maybe, to see how many people give people time to go back to the movies, but they wasted it because this, much like all those other young adult novels, is just they wanted money. That's what it feels like to me.
You're right, because you go back what a decade ago, like the 2008 to 2015 period, there was a ton of, like you said, teenage targeted movies that were created just specifically for that audience to get them into the PG-13 type realm as far as the movies that were coming out. You listed many of them as far as just backing up what you're saying there. So it just seems to me that phase of the movie period is over. It just seems like just like we're seeing as far as the superhero movies, like a decline and fatigue in superhero movies. Those type of movies, the tween movies, those tween adventure or sci-fi or whatever you want to classify those movies, or fantasy movies per se, that period, I think, with this telling or with this trying to go ahead and tell the story once again, or in this case the prequel of the Hunger Games, it just seems to me like that it's run dry, that this genre for now needs to maybe be put to rest.
Yeah, I think so. It's like trying to milk a dry cow. Yeah, I don't know, but I absolutely agree. And this film, it seems to me like it would have been better because from what I remember there was talk of them completely rebooting the Hunger Games, just like they're doing with Harry Potter, just like they're talking about doing with the Twilight movies.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. All these movies in that genre just really, I would. I mean, although with Harry Potter, you saw this year with Hogwarts Legacy, it's been a great big seller on video game formats.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And again, like with Harry Potter, there was so much time and consideration put into the making of that movie. Like they were of the mind where they're thinking to themselves, we're not going to put, and it's obvious in the, if you've ever watched like the special features or making of the movie, like they put time and effort because they wanted this movie to be just as special as the books, whereas it doesn't feel the same with some of these other young adult novel oriented films. I mean, look at the Divergent series, was loved by a lot of people,
Hmm.
and the movies were so bad that they had to finish it on ABC Family.
Yeah, that third one exactly. Just yeah,
Mhm.
Miles Teller went screaming into the night that he didn't want to return for that series because
Yep.
he had
Yeah.
become a bigger star by that time.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
it just seems like there is no more or large audiences for those type of movies as of now, unless we can get a new series of books that can feed off of it, a new series of characters that people can fall in love with or that teenagers can go ahead and embrace. Because right now, in the world of video games and streaming and things of that nature that they can do outside of the movie realm, it's going to be hard to bring in that demographic of audience outside of Taylor Swift, because Taylor Swift, you saw she made a movie and that brought in that exact age of audience. It's going to be hard for them to bring in that constant audience with a new story again, unless it is a truly new story that you're going to tell that people can relate to.
Well, let's be honest. Taylor Swift could probably like collect sweat during her concerts and put in little jars and sell it and make millions of dollars off them. Everything she touches is gold. And
Yes.
I understand like people like her music. It's catchy, but it's just she's a phenomenon. Like she's a pop culture movement in itself. It's crazy.
I agree with you, my friend. I agree with you, and it just seems like at this point in time that they need to go back to the well. Hollywood needs to go back to the well, find better ideas, find ideas that they're going to have to be able to work on that's going to develop good stories, and then you can go ahead and bleed that dry. Because
So
that's usually the way it goes, right? They find a
yeah.
new story, they latch on to it, and then they bleed it dry.
You know what? Okay, so I just got done watching this movie. Is a short, like 11-minute documentary on Netflix about the Egyptian theater in Hollywood. Have you seen that?
No, no,
It's
but
okay.
that's
So
I've actually frequented, not frequented, but I've actually been by the Egyptian theater. I know the historic value of the theater. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it started out with like an interview with Guillermo del Toro. But anyways, like they talk about this time when in Hollywood, like film, there's magic in film, right? Like people there, it wasn't just movies weren't created for money. Movies were made to draw to provide the audience with an escape. And I feel like we have fallen so far from that it's going, I don't even know if we're ever going to be able to go back to it. Like there's an indie scene for film, but it's just it doesn't get the highlight as much as these franchises do. It's like all that succeeds in Hollywood, not succeeds, but all that gets played in theaters now are the franchises, and that's it seems like they're so overpowering that they are the future of film, whether we like it or not.
There's a brand new book that's actually just off on that beaten path where movies were so important, especially in the 80s and 90s.
Hmm.
There's a new book that's out. If people want to go ahead and check out, please, I've heard good things about it. Actually, seen a few interviews and seen good reviews on it. Thumbs up, actually, is opposable thumbs. It's the story of Siskel and Ebert,
Ah,
and that covers a golden age of movies, which especially they started out in the 70s, but really when their show hit syndication, as the rise and importance of movies came into place in the 80s and early 90s, where really the critics, but basically those two guys were the most two important critics in all of America, and basically they gave you a thumbs up for your movie, you had a chance on really doing well. If you got a thumbs down from them, they had such great importance at that time. They were the Rotten Tomatoes of that time. They were the Metacritic of that time. If they gave you a thumbs down, it was a lot harder for your movie to make money. I mean, it just, in fact, they would be put on as far as instead of the 90% Rotten Tomatoes, it would be thumbs up from Siskel and Ebert. They were that important to a movie marketing at that point in time. They were. It just reminds me of how important film was at that point in time in the 80s and 90s.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and I remember their show, there's like what, Siskel and Ebert, and then Ebert and Roper and all that. But yeah, I remember when their show was on. I remember what, like, I used that to be like, oh well, if they like this movie, maybe I should watch. I mean, I was a kid, of course, so I couldn't choose what movies I was watching, but still, like, I remember being enamored by that. Yeah, and they had a big voice, and they were very, very well respected.
So yeah, to me it just seems like there's a different time for movies, and now that we live in the age of streaming, you're going to have to go ahead and understand that the the audience is different and the way they observe things are different. So people are going to have to come to grips with that. There are going to be more of these, many more of these, Josh, where companies are spending, film movie studios are spending 100, 150, $200 million for movies that are not going to do well in the theaters. What they need to do is refocus how they view these movies as profitable. Like, for instance, Killers of the Flower Moon, absolutely getting destroyed as far as from the box office standpoint. But if it does bring a lot of viewers into Apple TV Plus, once it hits Apple TV Plus, then there's your break even, my friend. There's your profit. There's where you can go ahead and say, you know what, maybe it wasn't such a bad idea to spend $250 million on this after all. So those are the things that are have to come in play. Like, for instance, this movie, Hunger Games, as far as the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes as a prequel, when it finally gets to Peacock, because I think Peacock owns the rights. It's Universal. It's a Universal pick, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Uh, I'll look it
Yes.
up. I'll look it up here in
Or
a second.
Lionsgate, I think. Yeah,
Oh,
something like
Lionsgate. Okay. Well, if it, let's say if it hits Peacock, if it gets new viewers into Peacock, that's going to have to be your gauge for success going forward for movies like these. Because as we're seeing, my friend, we're seeing a ton of these movies this year, especially, fall upon deaf ears initially at the box office. Now, a lot of them are getting life on streaming. Like, for instance, the latest, speaking of irony, the latest Jennifer Lawrence movie, No Hard Feelings, that hit huge on Netflix, but for Sony, it's a Sony movie, but it hit huge on Netflix. So does that mean now it's a break even or a successful movie? I'm not sure how you gauge that as of now.
Yeah, it's a really, really great question. Yeah, because I mean, a lot of what we're consuming now are coming straight to streaming platforms. Like, even look at Napoleon, right? Everyone said that, a lot of reviews out about that one, but it's having like a split release. Like, it's going to there's a director's cut going to Apple TV, and there's a standard edition releasing in theaters. So how are they going to gauge exactly how much money that movie brought in?
I'll tell you what, though, the box office has many ups and downs, and it was sort of down this week with the with the latest release of what we see with the Hunger Games, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, coming out to $100 million, just under $100 million worldwide. Let us know your thoughts. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. If you saw the movie and if you think it's worth reviving this IP in the Hunger Games, or do you think you should just let it die by the arrow? Pew! Like there, like Katniss Everdeen shooting one of those arrows. Please let us know your thoughts. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. Cool, bro. Great to have you here. Absolutely. I did see Rebel Moon, and I am excited to go ahead and see it next month. And I know Josh and I have spoken about that before, and we are definitely going to see it. I want to know, as far as it's concerned, actually, he wants to ask you real quick, Josh. He just got the WOT books, and he's going to talk about the LOT as far as after reading LOTR's Wheel of Time. So he's got his fantasy slate set there for you. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of characters he enjoys for the Wheel of Time and LOTR, as far as, because he's reading Lord of the Rings right now, my friend. So
Gotcha. Hey, good choice. Good choice.
yes, absolutely indeed. But getting back to today's show, wanted to go ahead and mention that the second place for the box office was the Trolls. And as far as the Trolls are coming back, as far as Can you believe? And as my daughter said, she cannot believe that the Backstreet Boys got back together. Well, for this movie, they did get back together, including, of course, Justin Timberlake. As that movie actually, on a worldwide basis, Josh, even though it only did $31 million domestically, actually did slightly better at the worldwide box office as far as the international take was larger. Your thoughts on the Trolls band coming back together, the Backstreet Boys coming back together, at least on screen per se?
Yeah, it the Trolls franchise is a lot bigger than I thought it was. So my kid, my daughters have been watching the Trolls movie, and the first one's on Netflix. So they've been watching that a lot, and I didn't even know that there was a whole like thing outside of the first one. I did. There's all these like holiday. There's like a holiday film. There's a couple of animated things. I didn't know there's a second one, so we just watched the second one earlier today, and yeah, it's I don't know, man. I mean, it's something. That's all I can really think to say. It's catchy, the kids like it, and I can see it being something that goes on for a very, very long time. But yeah, I don't know, it's cool. It seems like it's a great opportunity to bring in for a lot of musicians to appear in animated form that have left a legacy for adults, or people who are grown now.
Well, the disappointing, the most disappointments on this box office was the 78% drop of the Marvels, with only $10 million in its second week here domestically, and worldwide it's $161 million, and it is nowhere going to be coming even close to break even. I know we talked about this before last week with the first week initial dismal results for the Marvels being the worst first week ever. This is the worst second week ever, my friend. That's not a good sign for Marvel going forward.
No, it's not. I know we talk about this all the time, but there's something broken in Marvel that they need to fix. And I actually read an interesting article. There's a lot of people are asking themselves, did Marvel go so big with in-game that they are not ever going to be able to live up to that again?
I would have a tendency to ask that same question myself, my friend. I don't want to say 100% yes until we've seen what variation of the X-Men Fantastic Four come into play, because they now have control of those. And when they get full control of the Hulk, although in essence they have like 99% control of the Hulk anyways, they just can't star him in a movie yet until they get
Yeah.
that under Universal. But they've been basically utilizing him probably about as best way as you can, especially with Mark Ruffalo doing such an admirable job throughout the years. So
Right.
essentially, they have the whole universe in their hands, and even Sony with Spider-Man, they're outside of these other stories like Madam Web and Craven the Hunter and all those side stories that either hit or miss. The basic Spider-Man core seems to be going well under their control. It just seems like that I want to see how it lays out later on with Avengers 5 and 6 before I say that 100% that, yeah, after Endgame, it's been, where do you go from here? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think the problem that they're finding themselves in, though, is that they're trying every film that and series that they're putting out is people are counting on it to build up to those next Avenger films. Whereas, you go back to uh what the first and second phases of Marvel, and people were excited because there wasn't already a bar set. So people like, oh, I kind of want to jump on this train and see where it goes, whether we like this film or not. But now people have expectations, and I think they've kind of I don't know, like people want every new thing to come out to be this massive event, and it's not going to happen like that. So I don't know if the fans are setting themselves up for failure, or if it's Disney setting Kevin Feige and the fans up for failure. I don't know, but they're in a very difficult spot to be in.
Well, you said it yourself before on the show. When you take the family out to one of these movies, you're talking about the initial 10 to $20, depending on where you go for each person. You're
Yeah.
talking about another $10 to $20 in concessions. So you're talking about $100 night for your entire family to go ahead and enjoy one
Yep.
movie out there. So it better be a damn good reason for that to going out into that movie. And if it's just another movie like we're seeing now, one after the other, after the other, after the other, it's not really giving us a reason, a true reason. This is just another Marvels movie, or
Yeah.
it's just a prequel to the Hunger Games, which you can catch at any point in time on streaming, or it's just another slasher movie, or it's just another, just any of these movies that have been coming out, like Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving might the horror people, the horror fans might go see this movie just because the fact it's a themed movie in the horror genre. So they might catch that come here later this week. With Five Nights at Freddy's, the Five Nights at Freddy's fans showed up that first week for Five Nights at Freddy's. That's
Oh,
why.
absolutely, they did.
So
Yeah.
there was a reason why. There was a reason why that they went to go ahead and check out that stuff. And yeah, it just you're not giving the people a reason to go ahead and check out these movies that's great enough to spend the kind of movie each and every time out.
Yeah. Well, and on top of that, we you've addressed the situation. We got this weird economy going on, so people aren't spending as much money. Um, think about this though. The streaming platforms have been the most detrimental thing to happen to just the media industry in general, because people don't the streaming platforms, people don't go to see movies, right? Because they wait to stream them at home. The box office is suffering because, again, people are watching movies at home, don't want to take the family. Physical media is disappearing because people are just able to stream these things at home. Like, there's a lot that the streaming there have been consequences to the streaming industry for sure that people just haven't thought about. And I think as long as those streaming platforms are in service, we're going to keep finding this situation where, I mean, even if they have the, like, oh, it's not going to come to streaming platforms for 6 to 12 weeks or whatever, people are still going to sit there and wait. So I mean, it's
Yeah.
not, I don't see the box office like getting better as long as the streaming industry is where it's at. Like, we're going to continue to see decline in box office numbers, to the point where there might be a time when people don't even go to the movie theaters anymore.
What are your thoughts out there on this weekend at the box office? Please let us know your thoughts. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. But before we hit the half hour break, my friend, real quick, Super Mario RPG. The latest in the long line of Mario hits the Nintendo Switch, or actually did hit the Nintendo Switch in the past few days. Reviews are overwhelmingly good, overwhelmingly positive. Another strong rated Nintendo game. Your thoughts, my friend? I just still feel like we're in a holding pattern, waiting for the next Nintendo Switch to get dropped to find out exactly what we can play then. Your thoughts, though, on Super Mario RPG coming just in time for the holidays?
I think it's a smart move. I think you are right. They're probably pouring effort into the new Switch, and they probably have a lot of games lined up to be released on the new Switch. So it makes sense to put out a remake of sorts onto the current Switch, and right in time for Christmas too. So we're zooming into the holiday season, right? We're going to talk about Black Friday here in a
Yep,
minute, and what a perfect time to put out a game like that. And I don't know. I would really like to play it. I'm one of these days when I have some more time on my hands. But yeah, it's a we're like, you remember me saying all throughout the year, I wonder what Nintendo's gonna be putting out during the holiday season, and this is a perfect thing to release, actually.
absolutely. So I'm looking forward to see what the results are as far as the sales wise, where it lands. It's not come out to a great bit of advertising, though. I'm kind of disappointing on that. That the big push from Nintendo I haven't seen is there as of yet. But the reviews are solid, as pretty much every Mario game and Zelda game that comes out on Nintendo seems to always be. Because again, as we've talked about before, Nintendo knows their hardware better than anyone else, and it shows each and every time out. So basically, we're going to go ahead and check out what we're seeing with Super Mario RPG. But have you got any thoughts out there on Super Mario RPG? It's available now on the Nintendo Switch. You could please let us know your thoughts on that. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. Well, my friend, 1/2 hour down, 1/2 hour to go here on the Pop Culture Cosmos. Cool Bros asking you before we get into the nitty gritty and what we're really highlighting for today's show. He said if you checked out the Mistborn books as of yet, Josh the Great. I love how he refers to you always as Josh the Great.
Yeah, I was reading the comments. I have not read them. I have heard about them. I know Tor puts out some amazing like fantasy and science fiction books, so it probably would not be on their slate of releases if it weren't really good. So I don't know. If you read it and you like it, let me know, and then I will pick them up and give them a read myself. Because I'm currently reading a book by Paul Arnold called The Last Smile in Sunder City. It's really good. It's about like humans and all these different fantasy creatures living together in like the big city, but they still got all that prejudice, but all the magic is leaving the world. Really interesting premise for a series of books. But anyways, uh if you like Mistborn, it's good. Let me know and I'll check it out.
Check it out. Indeed, it is, of course, the Pop Culture Cosmos. It is Josh Peterson along with me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much for watching, listening. Truly appreciate it. And big special thank you to the radio stations around the world that are getting our radio show right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos. But before we head on out, my friend, it is that time of the year. It's one of our favorite episodes that we do each and every year. You and I love to comb through all the ads. I used to have to wait until Thanksgiving, where you then got the big bag, the big paper, the big newspaper, and it's tucked in were like 200 different ads tucked in the middle as far as everybody showcasing their ads for Black Friday. Then Black Friday and .com and all the other various websites in the mid 2010s, they all came around. They showed off their ad scans so people could try to plan out the smart people would actually check that out so they could scan that out. And we were, once we started, one of our favorite shows early on was actually going ahead and doing a countdown of all the best deals. You and I would scan for hours as far as it's concerned and check out all the great deals and see which one we liked best. Oh, this has got to be the number one choice right here for the best deal on Black Friday and all that. Well, my friend, the concept of Black Friday has just exploded and grown by leaps and bounds over the years. Now, Black Friday, as you talked about on last week's show, is a month in many cases. Now it's just like overdone, where it gets to the point where they have a Black Friday sale in the middle of November, Black Friday at the beginning of November, Black Friday seemingly Black Friday all year long in some cases, but it is going to be the Black Friday to the Black Friday, right? The day after Thanksgiving. Most stores do not open in Thanksgiving anymore, which I think is good because back in, there was a while where stores were just open on Fridays. Then they decided to be open on Thursdays and Fridays. Now it's just gone in a lot of ways to Fridays. Your thoughts on memories over the years for Black Fridays before we get into it, my friend?
It's such a different beast compared to what it was. I remember eating dinner and then going. So Black Friday used to be they did used to, yeah, you're right. They used to not have it on Thanksgiving Day. Like that was I
But
think
then
that
they
was the
did.
then they did, but I think like that was the start of this employees feeling or talking about how overworked they were.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember Black Friday as a kid, like my parents would or my mom would wake up early in the morning and she'd her sit my aunt and them they would go wake up at like 6 in the morning, go stand in line outside the stores, and they come back with giant things full of Christmas presents. And I remember being in Sacramento and I wouldn't be able to look in the trunk on the way home because there's just piles of stuff with blankets on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't until I was older that I actually like went Black Friday shopping. But yeah, that was when I think around the time that I started doing, I worked retail, so I was there. But after I left retail, I would eat my Thanksgiving dinner, and then me and my cousin would go to like Target or Best Buy or wherever to go try to grab some of these deals because they would start about 6 o'clock. So you
Yeah.
get there, you'd eat your dinner, you get there are lines all around the building, so you have to sit there wait in line to get in. But yeah, I remember buying a lot of things, games, video games, movies, action figures, all kinds of stuff, man. Like that was a day you used to be able to walk around stores, right? And they'd have the big kiosk with different things inside of them. Walmart still does that sometimes. I don't know what's going on this year, but yeah, I don't know. Black Friday was really cool, but now
Now
I
it's
think
just
a
like
lot
all
of
month, like in Walmart, it's just all month long. So the
yeah,
kiosks are there
yeah.
walking around and they're just there for you to get any time and
Yeah,
do a quick purchase.
absolutely, and it feels and tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like a lot of stores now are trying to drive Black Friday shoppers more to online sales than have them come into the stores physically.
No, that's not incorrect at all. That's a very good perception because that obviously for logistics and cost reasons it's more efficient for them to go ahead and do and to push you towards the online as far as that's concerned. And I can't say I blame you a bit, but even with all the Black Friday sales that now continue to perpetuate itself throughout the month of November, they still leave the best of the best deals for traditional Black Friday with a lot of retailers. So we'll go through some of the major retailers here in the US, and hopefully in your neck of the woods or in your area, they have something similar. But please check it out. Hopefully, that's other countries out there. If you're listening to us, get more into the Black Friday concept. So, yeah, absolutely. May the force be with you, cool bro. Truly appreciate you joining us again. Dan, I thank you enough. Let's get into the nitty gritty as far as some of the big players here in the States. Let's start with Target, my friend. What is peeking out to you? What is standing out to you in regards to a really big deal right there for you at Target for Black Friday?
So looking at Target, I want to scour their website a little bit more, but they got some decent video game deals. They got 29.99 for Hogwarts Legacy, Gran Turismo 7, 39.99 for some of the bigger games, Resident Evil 4, Assassin's Creed, Final Fantasy. But there's quite a few. So I mean, if you haven't had a chance to catch up on titles like God of War, Ragnarok, or Ghost of Tsushima, Horizon, Forbidden West, like this is a good time to check them out because they're all about $20 to $30 cheaper than they usually are. Um, there's also they have some sweet deals on gaming monitors, and there's some good deals on toys if you're looking for that stuff. Uh, Other than that, though, there's oh that was the other thing I was looking at. Sorry, the backbone. I know a lot of people have been talking about that, but if you're looking to stream you some PS5 games, it's $30 off.
There you go. Absolutely. But what are you going to play it on? So if you don't have a good TV to play it on, you might want to check out some of the deals at Target to start off with. We'll go ahead with them because if you go right now, or if you go to target.com or you go ahead and check out blackfriday.com that with the Target ad for Black Friday, they have, and you might want to check to whether or not it's online or at the stores. It's a special purchase for them, but it is almost $230 off. It is a 70-inch television for under $300. That's right. A 70-inch 4K HDR smart Roku TV from Westinghouse, $299.99. Did you ever think that we came to a point where 70 inches for a big screen would be under $300?
No, not at all. And that's great for the TCL, the Insignias, the Roku's, Westinghouses. Like that's it's a great deal because a lot of those off TV brands are actually made with the recycled parts of mainline brands. So you're not really missing out on quality with any of that stuff. It's just you're paying for a name brand. But even looking at these 65-inch LG OLED TVs, you're saving $400, $500. Like there's some great if you're looking for a great TV like this is a good time to invest because you're not going to really find deals like this anywhere else.
I agree with you, my friend. So, yeah, that's probably the standout TV deal for the televisions, although we can go into a little bit more later on some other TV deals that they have or other players have out there. MetaQuest 2, even though the MetaQuest 3 is already out, my friend, or on the way, it's out. MetaQuest 3 is already out, correct?
Yes, there is a MetaQuest that just came out. I'm not sure which
Yeah,
one.
that is MetaQuest 3. So MetaQuest 3, if that's out, yeah, that is out. Um, MetaQuest 2, the older model, they're now trying to pawn off at $250. So I don't know if you want to just try this as an entry level VR, you might be interested in it. I'm not sure. It's up to you. But when it comes to the gaming aspect of it, Xbox every single year seems to have the best deals. I don't know why I don't know why it's not more popular because it seems to have the best deals each and every Christmas. Yet Nintendo and PlayStation always sell more. Right now, for on the low end, you can get a Xbox Series S bundle for $250 with 3 months of Ultimate Game Pass. That's 100 games plus at your fingertips for 90 days for just the throw in into the and get the Xbox Series S. That to me is a pretty darn good deal. Or do you want to go for $200 more at $450? You can get an Xbox Series X as well. So you can get Xbox Series X. That's price. In fact, Target has the Diablo edition with Diablo plus a $75 e-card, all for under $450, my friend.
Oh
That
my
is a
gosh, that's
smoking deal.
amazing. Xbox,
Yes.
Xbox is great. You know, they're great. Also, though, I mean, look at this. So you can get yourself a PlayStation 5 from Target for 499.99,
With the
and
Spider-Man 2.
with the Spider-Man 2, or you can get the new slim one with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. So these are like companies don't do this anymore. You know, you used to go buy a console and you'd have the game in it. You buy a Sega, it comes with like a Sonic game or something. Companies don't really do that anymore. So it's kind of a sweet deal if you're looking to buy somebody a console, you know, give them that Christmas magic, and they do not have any games to play. You're basically getting a free $70 game right here.
That's true. So take a look at that. Make sure you're keeping an eye on. I know the bundle with the Spider-Man 2 for the PlayStation 5, that's their standard bundle. So you should see it at all major retailers for $500, about $50 off. So go ahead. If you can't get it at Target, I would go ahead and choose somewhere else. But yeah, I'm telling you, my friend, there's some really good deals out there to be had. You just got to go ahead and make sure you scan through, see what you need. They have a bundle right now with Super Smash Brothers edition. That's with the OLED screen for the Nintendo Switch. That's at 350. I would personally go for the Xbox, but that's just me. I would say that's a better deal, especially the fact that the Switch is even if the OLED versions, that's going to be feeling long in the tooth this time next year with the new Nintendo Switch on the way. But you look at that and you see the just the prices are this time of year for video game players. This seems to be the best time of the year to go ahead and pick up some video games that you didn't get throughout the year.
Oh, absolutely. If you're looking to add things in your back catalog as you plan to play it eventually, this is indeed a great time to start picking some things up.
It's funny because the $70 price tag for MSRP on new games now these days, when they reduce it in price, like for Black Friday, it doesn't seem like on the surface like it's the same kind of great deal you once had this time last year or in the years past.
Yeah, no, no, it's not. It's just you know, like we said before, it's confusing because you don't know. They release different deals on different days. So, and there's Black Friday lasts all month, so it's really hard to keep track of a lot of it.
I do want to mention that that's Target right there. There's always some great offerings at Target. So please go ahead and check it out as far as blackfriday.com and the Target ad there. But there's always some great offerings for whether it's consumer electronics, whether it's pop culture goods. You can also make sure you can check out the 10% off gaming gift cards you have right there as well at Target. So there, if you want to go ahead and pick up some Xbox cards or Fortnite cards or whatever, you can go ahead and check it out there at a 10% discount, which is always cool indeed. At Walmart, my friend, if you're just the 70 inch is too big for you, go for a 55 TCL at 188. Not a bad pickup for a second TV there for you as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Walmart's always got some great deals on TVs, but Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong getting a TV from Walmart because they do offer buyer protection. So if something happens to it, you don't have to worry about not being able to get a new television. So Walmart's a good place to go. I know they also have some pretty sweet deals on DVDs and Blu-rays. So get yourself
While they're
a
still
TV
selling physical
while they're
media.
still selling. This is the time. This is the time. Is the probably going to be the last year you can buy physical media from these stores. So get yourself a TV, pick up a Blu-ray player, and or if you have a console, and this is a great time to watch some movies.
It is, my friend. So when you're going ahead and checking out, please, if that's TVs seem to be prevalent as far as good deals on TVs, make sure if it's the one you're targeted early, pardon the pun, target it early and make sure you that's the one you want, because I've had situations where I've tried to get my hands on certain televisions and they get sold out quickly, so make sure you're prepared for that. Always a good time to go ahead and make sure if you don't have your Christmas tree ready yet, or if you're got it's time to get a new Christmas tree. Always a great time to get some new Christmas trees or Christmas ornaments, because that's that last sale before the holidays on Christmas trees and Christmas items like that, my friend.
Yep, that is right. So if you're looking to do some bargain shopping, the deals will not be better than what they are on Black Friday. You'll still get some sales, but it's not going to be anywhere close to as affordable as they are on Friday.
So when it comes to high-end stuff, as far as the beat on the Apple sides or Beats, headphones, headsets, accessories, because those are essentially a big markup item normally, my friend, you see a lot of discounts on accessories like that quite often during Black Friday. And I see a lot of it as far as from whether it's the Apple iPod for the earpods, for the
Mhm.
for your for your Apple phone, or whether it's Beats for your Apple phone. I see a lot of sales this time every year on those type of items.
Yeah, absolutely. The AirPods are. I mean, I'm looking at all these ads like Best Buy, Walmart, Target, like everybody's got deals on AirPods right now. And if you even if you can't afford like the Apple branded AirPods, like there's a lot of generic AirPods that actually work really well, and I'm sure you'll be able to find some pretty sweet deals on those ones too.
Yes, you can. I've seen some as low as $20 for nice sets of ear pods. So definitely look into that. One of the things though we always come around to is laptops. Laptops seem to go and sell like crazy. I purchased a laptop on Black Friday before, my friend, and this year is notwithstanding. And while you can go the under $500 route on a lot of places like Best Buy, Walmart, Target, Office Depot, Office Max, you can find a lot of under 500 deals. The thing is, though, are these laptops going to be powerful enough for you to go ahead and be able to thrive off of that? As far as be able to utilize it for what you need to utilize it for. That's the problem I have each and every time out when we offer these the or ask let everybody know that about these laptop deals each and every years. They seem to be underpowered if you're looking for something under $500.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, $500 seems to be the threshold, but I guess it all depends on what you want to do with it too. Like if you're someone who's looking to run, some of the Adobe programs on there, you're looking at something that you need something that's at least 16 gigabytes and you have a decent graphics processor. So, yeah, $500 is definitely the threshold there. But even like looking at, I'm on look, yeah, well, I'm sure we'll get to it in a minute, but like Best Buy's got some pretty good deals. So I mean, even at like the base of that price threshold, that stuff for like $600-700, I'll still do the job. But yeah, I mean, your basic laptops are going to be anything that has like 8 gigabytes in it, and it'll run your emails and all that. But yeah, anything more than that, yeah, you're gonna want to spend a little bit of extra money, but hey, at least you're gonna know that it works, right?
That's true, my friend. But the thing is, you said Best Buy, because I've got a deal on a laptop. If people just go a little bit higher, that might actually be worth their time somewhere else. But you tell me on Best Buy, what is catching your eye at Best Buy? Woo, made a rhyme, man.
So
Yes.
I'm looking at the Asus Tough Gaming laptop right now. So it is 750. It's got 16 gigabyte of RAM, DDR5. It's got a RX 7600 processor in it, and it is yeah, like I said, it's $350 off, running for about 750. They have a couple of gaming PCs, like the HP Omen Tower is $350 off. It's over $1,000, but like this is something that you'll buy and you probably won't have to replace it for a while. I'm currently running an HP Omen laptop, and it's been a dream. It's been an absolute dream. But yeah, they got Asus and Acer seem to be the popular brands on sale at Best Buy. I Both of them seem to have pretty powerful processors on them. So if you're in that market, like you can under $800, you're able to find something that will run your Games Pass, run Steam, run all the gaming programs you need. If you're into media creation, it'll run Adobe just fine.
I will say if you go a little bit higher, my friend, and you check out Newegg, Newegg is something that we don't cover often enough as far as when you do these Black Friday deals. They are a computer superstore retailer. A lot of the stuff that they do is online. I will tell you right now, if you check out Newegg and their Black Friday deal at blackfriday.com, there might be some things that might surprise you there. Starting with a laptop at $849, my friend, that's an Intel i7. RTX 4060 as far as the actual video card, which is actually pretty impressive for a price like that. Plus 32 gigs, although it is DDR4, which is the a little bit older of DDR RAM, but still should be able to get the job done. And 1 terabyte SSD with Windows 11. That's a pretty good package for 849 in a laptop, my friend.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, it's yeah, Newegg actually has I didn't realize that they do Black Friday deals, so that's
Oh
definitely
yes.
worth checking out because I know year round they've got some good sales going on.
They are Fry's what Fry's was meant to be before Fry's unfortunately got too big.
Man, I loved fries so much.
Because you know why? They put all their eggs in the basket of in home or not in store brick and mortar retail at the building those huge superstores, and all that money during the 2010s they should have applied towards online because that's where the movement was trending to.
Oh my gosh! But do you remember walking into that place and just like
Oh yes.
the feel of it? You'd walk in, you see the water fountain. They always had water fountains in the middle of the store. Everything
Or the
was done like,
cafe.
or the cafe, yeah. And you could walk in. And I remember when the PS1 came out, they just had aisles and aisles of PlayStation 1 games. And oh my gosh, man! Like I'm having some serious nostalgia right now.
I'm telling you, my friend, it was great every day because I worked as a PlayStation rep, and I worked and at Best Buys, but then I also had times where I was went to here in the city to one of the two locations for Fries, or yeah, one of the one for a location for Fries because they never actually really opened up anywhere else in the city really. So yeah, it was just fantastic to see the type of volume that they created at that time in the store, but it was so hard to keep up. But yes, the experience was so great each and every time. I actually got to take my daughters as they were closing down the Las Vegas Fries, and it was very sad to see it go. And I know you had one near you in Anaheim at the time that I would always
Mhm.
remark, yeah, I'm just driving by. I remember I was on the phone with you one time while I was driving by on the Orange County Freeway. Yeah, I'm driving by the Anaheim one, right there in Fullerton, right there for
Yep,
you. Yeah,
that's right. That's right. Yeah.
yeah. I remember those days indeed. And it's funny because Jordan Peele in his latest movie utilized the fries as well. But before we head on out, my friend, I want to go ahead and mention one of the other main consumer electronics that a lot of people go for, and that is cell phones. Cell
Mm.
phones are very underrated right now as far as people think, oh, yeah, they have deals on cell phones all year long. Yes, they do. But right now, people are out. These cell phone companies know they're out and about. So not just the fact that you can go to your local T-Mobile, you can go to your local AT&T or what have you. You can also stop by your Best Buy, your Walmarts in the world and take a look and see if that's what you need because there's a ton of good deals on phones as well. Or
Yeah,
Apple
phone
stores too.
Yeah, that's right. Well, phones are weird, man, because you can go to like all these companies like Verizon, T-Mobile, they're all having deals where like you get free phones for adding lines and all that. So is it really worth it to spend to drop that much money on a phone when you can just go and like have it added onto your plan and pay a monthly fee on it? I struggle with that. I struggle with that. Like I get why people would like, oh hey, it's $200 off the Google Pixel or whatever, but most of your phone companies, they'll create some kind of, they usually have deals where you can get it a lot better than that.
I agree, but sometimes they are. I've actually, to be honest with you, I've actually gotten a lot of good deals on Black Friday for my phones. So they've worked out well for me as far as for my plans was then Sprint and now T-Mobile. So it's worked out well for me as far as getting new phones. Most of my family, anyways, during the Black Friday season because they seem to give us, whether it's because of our plan or whether it's because of what we're related to, some pretty good deals on getting some phones at that time. Although, again, you're in mid cycle. When you get it around this time, realize that the phone itself, whether it's Apple or whether it's Samsung, are in mid cycle. They love to go ahead and bring these type of phones out in February and March. That's when they really bring out, that's when you can get the latest and greatest is then. So by the time November hits around, they're already thinking about next year's version already.
Yeah, that is also true. So you're kind of getting a there. It's probably a plan of theirs to clearance out all the old models before they're bringing in the new ones. But yeah, phones are weird. Phones are a weird thing to have on sale because they're, I don't know. There's, yeah, I don't know where I'm going with that, but yeah, it's just a weird thing to have on sale, I think.
So my friend, before we head on out, if you have one deal, you said to okay, somebody comes up to you, hey, Mr. Pumpkinhead on your shirt, or AKA the Happy Hoarder, and they've already purchased $1,000 off you at the Happy Hoarder. By the way, they saved 10% because they used the code Happy Holidays 23. But
Man.
after they spent $1,000 on at your store and they cleaned you out, they said, I got to go somewhere else and I got to make sure I get the best deal possible on a product, a pop culture product of some type that really would make someone's day. You got to give them one deal. What is it, my friend?
I would send them to GameStop. I know we don't do that often on this show. We don't really have a lot of
I think
good
you just
things to
gave
say
me a
about
heart
GameStop.
attack
I'm not even saying for video games though. I'm looking at like
for
they have a
anything.
they have a great deal right now, buy two get one free on collectibles and action figures and all that stuff. So if you're looking to save a buck, you this is a pretty good place to do it. I've done it. I've bought some action figures and Funkos from GameStop, not for the Happy Hoarder, but for myself. And they do, especially if you're a pro member, they do have some really good deals. Like their Black Friday deals have already started, so you can go do that. But they have a massive selection online of toys and collectibles. So I would send them there. What about you though? Where would you send them?
That's very hard for everyone out there for Josh to do that because he and as like I been so hard on GameStop over years. Although he, was part of that junk stock climb of GameStop. So,
Yeah,
GameStop has been a good and a bad thing for Josh. Let's just put it that way. Let's just put it that way right there. Yes.
absolutely.
But I will say my deal is something we mentioned early on, my friend. It is a Target. And yeah, I would say, no, it's not the 70-inch. Although if you want a 70-inch TV for under $300, that's a pretty good deal. But I would say it's the Xbox Series X for $449 with Diablo and a $75 e-gift card that they send to you as well. That is an amazing deal because you don't have to use it right away, or you can get a game, or you can get something else with a $75. So that to me, I think is probably the best deal I've seen on anything this time around this year. I know they've their regular Xbox Series X that you can buy and you get a $75 gift card, but the one for the same price with Diablo 4 thrown in, which is a great game, on top of the fact you get a $75 e-gift card as well. So yeah, I'd probably say that. I'd probably say that would be it.
Oh, absolutely. Plus, like you get that anytime you get a new Xbox, you get a 2 to 3 months full of Games Pass for free. So it is there is an amazing bargain in that deal. Like it really like what is Randy Quaid saying Christmas Vacation? It's the gift that keeps on giving.
That it is, my friend. That it is. So if you have any thoughts on Black Friday, or you loved what we do each and every year when it comes to Black Friday, or do you have any Black Friday deals you want me to put out on on Pop Culture Cosmos on Facebook, please let us know. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Well, my friend, it's been a great episode. As always, we love Black Friday. Can't wait. Can't wait. Any last thoughts before we head on out?
I think we covered it. Yeah, just keep those eyes peeled because I'm sure you'll see more deals go on as we get closer and closer to it. Don't just look in the papers though. Look online because all these stores have things going on online or like online only prices too that are usually pretty good deals. So yeah, just keep looking.
Just keep looking. Keep looking indeed. BlackFriday.com. Got to give you a big shout out because a lot of our information came there. Looking forward to seeing everybody shopping on Black Friday, and hopefully that means a happy Thanksgiving for you as well. So for Josh Peterson, this is Gerald Glassford. It's another beautiful day in paradise right here in the Pop Culture Cosmos. We thank you for listening. And here's hoping you have yourself a great